Hi guys, happy Tuesday. So we're going to continue with this book. We should finish it today, I believe. We just have a couple more pages to read about Islam. So we're going to begin here with growing up. Can you see this okay? Growing up. The Islamic religion is closely linked with every moment of our lives. As soon as Muslims are born, we are made part of the faith. As we grow up, we are taught the ways that Islam can guide us through life. Families are very important, but we are also part of the whole family of believers throughout the world, which is called the Ummah, I think. Okay, so first in birth, and that's right here. So in birth, the first ceremony takes place as soon as a baby is born. We believe that a child is a gift from Allah and must be brought into the faith as quickly as possible. The baby is washed, and the call to prayer is whispered in its right ear. A second prayer, the call to worship, is whispered in the baby's left ear. Next, honey or a piece of sugar is placed on the baby's tongue as a sign of a happy life. Oh, that's so cute. Reading and writing. Like all Muslim children, when I was 7 years old, I went to evening lessons at the mosque. The imam taught me how to read the Quran in Arabic, its original language. I also learned how to write in Arabic letters and the correct ways to pray and behave in the mosque. Interesting. So here's a picture right here, and it says some Muslims attend Islamic schools. So they're going to specific Islamic schools to learn more about Islam. Here, and I don't know if I'm going to say this right, but it's called Akika, naming. This ceremony is held when a baby is 7 days old. It is given a Muslim name. Its head is shaved, and silver of the same weight as the shaved hair is given to the poor. Wow. Wait, the same weight as the shaved hair? That's probably not a lot, but that's still thoughtful. So what they're doing is they shave the baby's head and then they weigh the hair, and whatever that weight of the baby's hair is, they give that amount to the poor people in silver. So that's something, right? It's like a donation. Boys are circumcised. So I don't remember if we talked much about this, but circumcision is actually something that's done in Judaism as well, and it's basically, and it's kind of gross, it's kind of sad too, and it's only for boys. So right after they're born, the parents decide whether they want to have the boy circumcised or not. And basically what the doctor does, if they do want the boy to be circumcised, is they cut off the foreskin of the penis. So it's quite sad because I think it does hurt the baby, but of course the baby's so little and young that they're not going to remember, probably. But it's very common in Judaism as well as Islam. Okay? And I think people do it, I mean, here in America, I think people do it. It depends on the family, but sometimes it has less to do with religion and more to do with just what the family wants to do with their boys. I think some people do it if they're Christian or Catholic also. Now we're on this page, learning to be an adult. By the time we are 13 years old, children are expected to know how to behave in an adult Muslim way. Although we are taught many things in the mosque or at school, home is an important place for learning too. I help my mother to prepare meals in the correct way and learn which foods are forbidden. I am taught how to dress modestly and how to keep clean and healthy. All children must show respect for older people, especially their parents. Children are taught to obey their parents, even when they are wrong. Wow. So you have to have a lot of respect for your parents, and even if you disagree, you have to listen to them and obey them. So that's definitely different. Next is marriage. A Muslim wedding is usually a lot of fun, with a party and colorful clothes. Many marriages are arranged by the bride's father, although our law says that a woman cannot be forced to marry someone she does not want to. The wedding ceremony is not a religious one. The man proposes marriage and his bride accepts before witnesses. So that means that the man has to propose to the woman and she has to say yes in front of other people. So they can't do it in private. They both sign a contract to make it legal, and the man gives his bride a sum of money. So the man gives the bride money. So the man gives his wife money. Interesting. So here in this picture, and I don't think I showed you this one. And in this picture here, it says, relatives bring gifts to a new husband and wife in Pakistan. So they just got married and everyone's bringing them gifts. Okay. Death and burial. When a person dies, the body is wrapped in white sheets and buried as soon as possible. Friends call on the family to show their respect and support. Muslims believe that one day the dead will be raised to life and judged by Allah. Those who have lived good lives will go to paradise. Others will go into everlasting fire. So it sounds very similar to the heaven and hell theory in Christianity, right? All right. Last couple pages here. It's called Islam Around the World. Islam began as a religion of the Middle East and Saudi Arabia. Today, worldwide, there are more than 1 billion Muslims. Most Muslims live in the Middle East, North Africa, Southeastern Europe, and Southeast Asia. In Europe and the Americas, the number of Muslims is still small, but is growing fast. So there are different groups of Muslims. Okay, the first one we're going to read about are the Sunnis. 4 out of every 5 Muslims are from the Sunni branch of Islam. The Sunnis believe that Muslim leaders should be elected by the people. So, like democracy, right? Like what we have here. Sunni Muslims follow the traditional practices of the Prophet Muhammad. The word Sunni means majority, and Sunnis set the standard for Muslim life and practice. These include the rules for forbidden foods, fasting, and personal hygiene. Next are the Shias. Shia Muslims believe that the leaders of their communities must be related through history to Muhammad's cousins and son-in-law, Ali. Such leaders are powerful and are often seen as energetic seekers after truth. They have a strong tradition of dying for their faith. Iran is the best known, I'm not sure if I'm going to say this right, Shiite nation where religious and political rule are one and the same. So Shias, this sounds very similar to kind of in England, how they rule there, right? They don't have a president. They have the queen, right, who's royalty. And you're only royal if you are of royal blood, right? Or if you marry someone who is of royal blood. So that kind of seems like how that is here, where they must be like rulers or leaders need to be related to Muhammad. Interesting. So this seems a little more strict. So I think Sunnis are less strict. Shias are more strict. Let's read about Sufis. Oh wait, I didn't finish here. So this picture right here, it says, at prayer in the street in Cairo, Egypt. And then here, this picture, it says, Muslim boys outside a mosque in, I'm not sure if I'm going to say this right, but it's Lanzhou, China. Okay. And now we're moving on to this last page here. Okay, so Sufis. A small branch of Islam is Sufism. These Muslims use music, drumming, and dance in their worship. The dervishes, see page 37, okay, maybe I'll go back, belong to this group. Most Sufis live in Turkey. Okay. So for this picture it says, these Arab Bedouin are celebrating the end of Ramadan. So the end of their fasting, right? Let's see what page 37 says about dervishes. I don't remember dervishes. Oh, these are dervishes. So these dancers, right? Right here. All right, that makes more sense. So now let's read about Islam in Europe and America. The strong belief of Islam that the word of Allah is delivered in the Quran often makes it difficult for Muslims to live in Western society. Islam is a way of life with daily customs, traditions, and rituals that do not easily fit in countries and where most people belong to and practice other religions. The Nation of Islam. In the United States, in the 1930s, a black religious leader, Elijah Muhammad, started a movement called the Black Muslims, or the Nation of Islam. These Muslims had their own beliefs. One of their followers was Malcolm X. Oh, which we've heard about Malcolm X, right, in relation to Martin Luther King Jr. He was another public speaker, but one that was much more violent than Martin Luther King's rallies were, right? Martin Luther King was very peaceful, and Malcolm X was not. So he was part of the Nation of Islam. He persuaded many of them to accept Muslim beliefs as taught elsewhere in the world. The Nation of Islam continues, led by Minister Louis Farrakhan, who has a small following. Okay, Muslim dress, right here. People who have changed their religion to Islam often wear Asian or Arabic clothes as a symbol of their new faith. However, many Muslims who live in or come from Asia and the Middle East wear Western dress, such as jeans and shirts. In fact, the Quran only says that Muslims should not dress to show off or impress one another. For many Muslims, men covering the head and women wearing a veil are ways of being modest and equal to everyone else. So here, stop. Sorry, my dog keeps licking. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here in this picture, these are two women, and they're wearing head coverings. So let me read what it says. So these Muslim women in Pakistan are wearing yashmaks. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. Veils that completely cover the face. So to them, this is how they show respect for one another, right? It makes them feel more modest, and it makes them feel as though they're more equal. Okay, so thank you so much for following in this Islam lesson the past few times. That is all that we'll be reading from this book, but we will probably be doing some more from other books. So thank you for joining me. See you guys next time.